This session brought to you by Odyssey Games for pre-orders and sealed product, CCG Prime for tons of singles and supplies, Cardo Doko for international rulers looking for product, and fowlibrary.com for articles and wonderful deck lists. It's also brought to you by our guest lecturer patrons, Vite Ramen. Class is in session. Hey there, rulers! Welcome back after a long week of Force of Will, or in my case, a long week of driving and being at a wedding, to your favorite ever live Force of Will podcast. It's Office Hours, featuring myself, DMO73, and as always, Paul Reisman. Paul, how you doing, buddy? You have internet again.
I have internet. Yeah.
Let's all give Paul some kikis in the chat, or some Kiriks in the chat for getting the tournament report uploaded with having zero internet access. So definitely got some flexes in the chat. Well done, Paul. Well done.
I had 20 strength counters.
Got him.
Strength counters.
It was good. Well, we are here. We are here to talk about all kinds of things. There's been some cool news dropped today, but also just like in general, we got some speculation stuff, some FoW Fest information. Just gonna be a good time. And before we get started, as always, do want to say thank you all so much for being here. If you like what we're doing, go ahead and consider clicking that join button down below to support the channel financially, or just that subscribe. You know, share us out, help grow the world, the word of FoW. We got some good stuff on the way. We got some good stuff working, and it's definitely a good time to jump in. So share the word out with everybody. We love you. We love you. So, Paul, tournament report, and you already have to do another one because of GP Vienna.
Yeah.
Wee.
Yeah.
Also, some really weird topping from that event, and I really liked it. Like, again, showcased great amounts of player skill, and that the meta's not solved, and that there's still a lot of flexibility in what you can do. And it was good times. And Zeus won. So it turns out Zeus can still win GPs, which is like, that's totally fine. And also Zeus can just absolutely scrub out of its top 8. Like, sorry, Dalton, I love you, but man, your deck did not show up. It got you to top 8 and it was like, ah, bored. So I look forward to getting your insight for that, as well as thank you to Stephen Jeswain for providing us some additional insight for his Vega deck from GP Caseyville. Lots. Just wait until he has the one for FoW Festival. Yeah, that tournament report's gonna be spice. Okay, we got stuff to talk about. We have new set stuff to talk about. Underworld of Secrets has finally dropped. It's kind of like actual first card previews in the form of the buy a box PR, its actual effect, as well as the pre-release. And in true recent FoW fashion, both of them are very clearly for one of the rulers instead of like divvying up. So one ruler's clearly getting some love. Will it be turning out to be the ruler that's the worst of the set, like Mika was? Give her 2 promos because she's bad. Hopefully not, because this mechanic is something that Paul and I are already very, very excited about. So we have L. We're going to talk about these 2 cards real quick. L Tracker. Both of these are dual color human ninjas, double white and double black. Both have 7/7 stat lines, and they kind of just play off of each other. So L Tracker. Enter J Resonators you control. Gain +6/+6 until end of turn. Pay 1 white. Put this card from your hand face down into your Shinobi EX area. Target J/Resonator you control gains +6/+6 until end of turn, and then Mastery R Tracker. So you can play it, one off of the other, which is neat for like. Then you see what R Tracker does, and it's like stat neg, so you can like play this one, tap it, play the other one, so just immediately create this like plus like this 1200 like swing in stats for the turn, which is kind of nuts. But here's R Tracker, same thing. Just as the -6/-6, pay 1 black, put this card into your EX Shinobi EX area. Target J/Resonator gains -6/-6 until end of turn. Mastery L Tracker. Stealth.
Stealth. Is that you?
Is that you? Stealth, is that you?
Is that you?
Jeremy's favorite mechanic in all of FoW? Is that you? Are you back?
Which now it seems like this your chance standby zone, in this case your Shinobi EX area is like sort of like a separate discard almost, because this will
potentially
like, go there face down and you won't get to use it anymore.
Potentially,
But you
there's
seem
so
to be
much we don't. There's so much we don't know about it, right? First off, I do want to say King Jalon in the chat. Hello again. Good to have you here. Just a Dinosaur. We're just a FoW podcast, so glad to have you join us here, Just a Dinosaur. Let's see. The biggest question here is, like, clearly you're gonna have to pay one, reveal it to show which one you're doing, because you have to target something and then put it face down. And then the question, there's two questions I have for this. One, how do we flip them back face up? Because there's no trigger, so clearly maybe some spells to like maybe cheat them into play, or like other resonators that cheat them into play or something. Maybe the contract. Like if you have so many things face down in your Shinobi area, and then when it flips, it puts all the things that are face down. So I guess I have three questions. One, how do they flip face up? Two, can anything go into your Shinobi area? And three, does everyone have a Shinobi area? That's the biggest piece of this, right? And particularly
so many PR questions.
Yeah. Particularly my question for R is whether or not everyone has the Shinobi area. It certainly seems like because it's bracket Shinobi EX area that it might be ruler locked. So like different rulers might generate different EX areas, so then it's like the subtyping, right? Just by like pure speculation and bracket information, right? Which in that case, good, because if everyone has it, this card's bonkers, because again, that's an instant speed ability, and you have pay one, activate ability, give something -6/-6.
A little nuts. A little
Like,
nuts.
Yeah.
I have two more questions, though.
I'm interested to hear them.
Are we going to see a Shinobi GX area or a Shinobi VMAX area?
Please no.
That's where I'm at.
Just Shinobi EX is fine. It's clearly designed like extra area, which you know, I'm kind of liking seeing this, especially like, oh, using another zone. To me, it's like, ban Origins and give me this other zone so that the sideboard can go back to being a sideboard, but I still get an extra place to play. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, if they ban Origins, but then we get these cards that kind of like make an extra zone based on the ruler, then it's like, well, my main deck lets me use this other zone, and my side deck can just go back to being the side deck. Finally. Please and thank you.
Just your other toolbox.
Yeah, just wait for the green version that cancels. I mean, we're in a format where cancels aren't great, so like, sure. Cool cards. Cool cards have me hype. There's probably some kind of substitution thing where like you can like take a ninja and like replace it with a different ninja, maybe that's in your face down area. I imagine, like, pure speculation at this point. Overall though, the artwork is sick. The theming is sick. This is kind of a revisiting of an older mechanic ish, because it's stealth light. But like, I like that.
Variation on it.
Yeah, it's a variation on stealth. It could have just been stealth, yeah, but also like stealth is still fundamentally broken as a mechanic. So then you'd have to like fix it.
I think this is them experimenting with it though. It's
yeah.
Like, okay, how do we make this thing work without it being too broken?
Right. There also could be certainly
good step.
There also could be Shinobi spells that like to visit the like chant standby era of like maybe there's Shinobi like chants, right? That like you can cast them from the Shinobi area or something like that to visit that like chant standby-ish era. A lot we don't know. About this set. We do have a breakdown of the cards in the set, so that's something to kind of talk about here.
Yeah.
So Underworld of Secrets.
However,
go ahead.
Before we move on,
yeah, go for it.
Let's not forget that these are still ninjas, so you get all of that ninja support from like the New Valhalla era, where like suddenly that comes into play. Like I think specifically of the Stone of Tranquility makes it so that you're, oh my gosh, hold on, I'm searching it up right now.
I forgot that there was actual ninja support because of Hanzo.
Yeah, Tranquility produces a green, recover target ninja, play this only during an end phase. So there's things like that. That's kind of fun.
Neat.
Katara's still a ninja.
And the interesting thing is about, like, again, if these are related to a specific Moonchild ruler, the idea of using Stone of Tranquility actually is viable because, like, especially if Origins gets banned, right? Because then Stone of Tranquility could be filtered into a different color as needed. So, like, still meaningful. Yeah, like...
Yeah, the ninja whistle. Search out for Divinity 1, and green just search a ninja. Cool.
I dig it.
Good stuff.
Ninja. Ninjas. Okay, so we got the breakdown of the set. 61 normals, including 5 basic magic stones, so 55 normals. 16 rares, 5 rare / J rulers, so the contracts. 12 supers, a super rare / J ruler, so the contract. 5 Marvel rares, 12 rulers, including 4 children. 5 secret rares, and then the usual other stuff. Only 1 type of token this time around, which actually, like, because of how consistent they've been in covering almost every single token type, that does actually give you some information in the set of, like, token decks are not suddenly getting a bunch more support. It's like, nah, there's going to be like 1 type of token. So that is information.
This one card is just so good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the biggest questions going into this are, is there any difference in terms of the ruler distribution? Like, did they get the feedback fast enough to be able to make a change to it? I will say, we've seen competitively that there have been successful decks that don't rely on having multiple contracts. I mean, most of the Falchion decks that have been topping are running Injustice. They're Injustice style Falchion decks where they're not even running Justice. We saw the Vika decks from Steven, like, it played the contract, but, like, that wasn't how it was trying to win. So, which again breeds that kind of, like, it's not great, but it's not awful. Like, you can still play these decks and be competitive, successful and have fun with them without having 4 copies of the contract. Do I hope that they fixed it for set 2? Yes. Do I wonder if they had enough time to fix that before set 2 was printed? Not sure. Like, is it going to be the end of the world if they didn't? No. Are people going to be unhappy? Yes. But, like, you know what I mean? I'm still going to ride that line of, like, there's bad and good. Like, it's still not MOA. That's, I will also say, that even if, so let me go out on a limb here and say, even if they didn't have time to fix it based on feedback, there's no Marvel contract in this set. So, like, that's already better than set 1. Because trying to get that Marvel contract, because it could only be in the full art slot, was a pain. So taking the Marvel contract off of the block, already better. Yeah, Mastery plus Recovering Ninjas, that's pretty neat, right? That's pretty good. Secret rares again. Yes, there's 5. Vampire 99, you're actually late this time. Yeah, but you're still here. So, overall, like, look at Underworld of Secrets looking pretty good. Current speculation is, I don't think I've said it on the channel. Current speculation, again, to go to the predictions part of tonight, is that the ruler packs, there will be 6 different ruler packs that you can pull. And it'll be one of the dual color rulers, a random Moonchild, one of the random 4 Moonchildren, and a contract. That's 4 of the 6 ruler packs. A ruler pack would have Reflect and Refrain and their contract, so that's ruler pack number 5. And then ruler pack number 6, probably the super rare ruler pack, would be the 2 Void rulers and their contract. Because we don't think that Reflect and Refrain or the Void rulers are going to have Moonchildren. They're probably going to be tag each other, speculatively. 4 secret red blue goopy man. Blah, 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 blah. We don't know the number of special magic stones. We imagine it'll probably be 5. The other 5 moon fragments, most likely, to kind of flush out the color perspective of the 4 sea stones, which I'm totally down with. Overall, going to be some cool stuff there. The other thing that we got to see, which I think is kind of the even more relevant thing. Stop this. Even more relevant thing is we got to see, not you, Paul. You're fine. We got to see more of this artwork for the ruler collection set. So I'm just kind of bringing this up here on screen. Don't mind the jank. We got to see 5. Well, we've already seen Grim, but we got to see 4 of the other rulers, what they're going to look like here. So we could see Magna, Melgis, Valentina, and Faria. And like, these look really good. These look really good. The transparent, like, card, like, ruler text box, the like semi-transparent text box is like just so much artwork is going to be showcased on these. So good. So good. I'm very much looking forward to potentially getting able to open one. I'm also very much looking forward to owning 3 of this set because I am buying a lot of it so that I can have one, keep one sealed, and frame one, because that's definitely going up on this wall in the background at some point when I get that framed as a new piece of collection. Sorry, Welser, you're probably getting knocked out of here for that when it gets framed. Love you, buddy, but time for you to go. So this is gonna look very sick. I can't wait for all that stuff to happen. I'm very excited to see how that goes and to crack those open. Oh my gosh, if the company sends me one early so that I can crack it for like video, I will lose my mind. So, Paul, what do you think as you look at these? I've obviously gushed over them, but as you look at these, like, I want to get your feedback.
Where's Olivia?
She's in the box somewhere.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's true.
Where's Shayla?
Probably in the box somewhere. Olivia is the feature match of this week. Does that count?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Release Olivia now. Show us Olivia, Force of Will. What are you hiding?
What are you hiding?
What are you hiding?
What are you hiding?
Keep us away from? I Spy. What don't you want my eye to spy, I Spy?
So the biggest thing I will say about this is that it does come out literally a week after the set 2. So like, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, but where are the mermaids? Yeah, that's Paul for sure. It's gonna be interesting to kind of go one right into the other. The other thing is too is like, it's gonna be really sad that we are not gonna have any of this before FoW Fest. I would love to have a box of this before FoW Fest to like just have in a binder and just like show off on stream during FoW Fest of like, look at how pretty this is. That would be like, I Spy, if you're listening and you feel like sending my product even earlier than usual and you're going to send me one of those, I mean, for FoW Fest, let's show it off, right? Anyway, maybe yes, maybe no. It's going to be very exciting. I'm very excited about this. They have continued to show off more videos on the Force of Will channel. That's been really exciting to see. They're getting into that stuff. I'm very clearly, taking more of an effort. He did Rio did kind of mention, I don't know if it was just a language thing, but Rio did kind of mention that this whole kind of like effort and push that they're doing, he called it like a reboot, which is an interesting verbiage because like the game hasn't ever actually died, but like they are putting in this like more intensive effort. So like, who knows what else that's going to bring to the table, but it is very exciting, especially with the projects that we at Ruler School have currently in the background that I can't talk about. Let's have my prediction video spew a bunch of like speculation for you to talk about in the community and see what you think to try to figure out what we're going to do. Let's go out of just so much hype at FoW Fest 2. Speaking of FoW Fest 2, we do have some pretty big announcements to kind of go over, so I want to get your feedback on these as well, Paul. First off, we have not to go to your question, Grey Grumbler, the Wanderer support set. Everything I know is that the Ruler reprint set is not the Wanderer support set. It is a separate thing. And so hopefully we get some more information about the Wanderer support set pretty soon. But I don't have any information for you about that. I just know that they're supposedly different. So you don't, okay. FoW Fest 2. First off, the hotel block at the Radisson has officially sold out. So, staying on site is no longer an option unless you want to pay for one of the higher end rooms, which is great news to hear. I'm really excited about that. Pre-registrations have been going up pretty steadily, so I encourage you to continue to go pre-register right now so that you can get that in. And the more we know about people who are coming in advance, the more we can plan for more fun stuff. We recently did a full announcement of our entire prize wall kind of breakdown. While we haven't officially announced the points for how much things cost, point value wise, they are locked in. So we will have playmats of different qualities, going from ruler school playmats to more chill Force of Will collectible playmats, all the way up through Chinese playmats. We will have banners, a few banners. We will have Chinese Melfies and Black Witches. We will have potentially some other like smaller things, some deck boxes, all kinds of cool stuff available on a prize wall. And then by playing in side events, any of the formats, even if you lose the first round because there's single elimination, you still get tickets. And because I know that we want FoW Fest to not be about money, but also FoW Fest is a fundraiser for future events, but we still don't want it to be like a one-sided venture. We did the math. If you played in 10 side events and lost the first round in all 10, you would still have enough tickets to buy one each of the Chinese Melfi and the Chinese Black Witch, which currently sell for $150 a piece. So that's $300 worth of stuff for $200 worth of entry. So even the least effective thing is still financially advantageous to you. So, I mean, that seems pretty cool, I think. It's a pretty cool breakdown. Yeah, so there within Kalamazoo, there are a ton of very, very affordable within walking distance hotels and Airbnbs. I literally am looking at $98 a night, $130 a night, $140 a night, $80 a night. So just like Airbnb or check out Google, you will be able to do that. We might be trying to call some of those hotels around the space. Not promise anything, but we are going to try to call some of the hotels around the area to talk about, hey, we've got an event going on. Would you be willing to do a discounted rate for people who are flying in for this event? So keep on the lookout for that as we get kind of more speculation that way. Because I don't mind calling hotels and speaking to managers to try to get people cheaper rates for hotels. Just so you know. But the sooner you book your hotel, obviously, the better it is for everybody involved. That's so side events, pricing structure. Next up is, again, if you haven't seen it already on Facebook, official confirmation that for the main event of FoW Fest, Warhorse and Origins of the Seven Lands are hard banned. You cannot play them in your deck. The only potential exception to that rule, and it hasn't been finalized yet, it's being discussed, is if you show up to the FoW Fest main event playing exactly the Aristella starter deck, unchanged, except to swap one Cocoon out of the main board to the sideboard and one like a single card into the main board, and then just don't play a sideboard. Like, you're literally just like, I'm playing the Aristella starter deck. We might let that be legal for the main event, which would mean that Warhorse is legal exactly in the Aristella starter deck, unchanged with no sideboard or whatever. This is because we want to encourage newer players who might just be only able to pick up an Aristella deck to be able to play in the main event. And honestly, Warhorse in the Aristella deck is just fine. So again, that's being discussed. It has not been finalized. Current finalization is that Warhorse and Origins are full banned. Let us know in the comments what you think about this idea of allowing newer players to register with just the Aristella starter deck and no sideboard, and whether or not you think that's a fine choice or something you could agree with. We're interested to hear that feedback, because again, we want it to be the best idea for all players. Stephen Wells, is the ruler box all old rulers? They have been updated to new formatting. They have not been upgraded. As far as we know, it's every ruler starting from Grim up through the end of Saga, minus some of the Vingolf rulers. We think probably minus Aramaki, but also adding the Ascended rulers. That's what we think it is in terms of what the breakdown is for ruler cluster. So it goes up to, it stops at orders. Going into here, let's see. Max event size. I think we're currently speculated to be able to run an event up to like 150 people. And we can put more people in that room if we need to. Like, we have seating for 150. And we can get more tables. So, like, we got space! We just might sell out of the, like, gold tier entries if it gets too big. Which is why it's important to register early. If you have Aristella with partner one from the starter, sure, you get a stable. Yeah, that's exactly the idea of, like, literally, you can't swap it to better Aristella. Literally, the only thing you're allowed to change is move a Cocoon to the sideboard, put one card in the main board, play as made. Just so that you can start on the event. If you get clapped by a starter, that's on me. Yeah. Extend it to the Gnarly starter as well if you show up with that starter. So here's my problem with that.
There's no horse in that deck.
Well, here's my problem with that is that the Gnarly starter can also just kill you 1/1. Like, that deck has multiple cards that are banned, or like shouldn't be allowed to exist together. So we're a little bit. I mean, I did think about that, but like, I'm a little bit less hesitant. I've also thought about the idea of just letting people who sign up with starters across the board be allowed to just play them as is. But again, this is all speculative because we still want to make it the best event possible. So these are good ideas for people to kind of have and let us know. But as of right now, Horse and Origins are hard banned across the board. The other thing is we have a new side event format that has actually been brought up to me. It is a project of a member of the Forcible community. It's very, very interesting. I'm going to have more information on it. It'll also be kind of a side event designed to help give information and player feedback for a fan-created format, because there's a lot. The Wanderer space is very, very fun. It allows for a lot of experimentation. California has already done a lot of work with the Epic Stories format, kind of really exploring that, if you haven't seen those changes to the rules. So, Paul, I'd be interested to hear your feedback on this, feedback on this format as well. It is called Schrodinger format, and it is shifting to it's Wanderer format using a Yu-Gi-Oh style forbidden semi-limited limited list. Is the interesting take, and it has its own current ban list right now. And so we have offered to allow this as a side event format. More information will be coming on it soon, like an official like posting of whatever the limited list is, as a way to use FoW Festival as a way to celebrate, something, a different way to play, and gather some feedback for a fan format. So, it's got a full ban list with a bunch of banned cards, limited cards, and semi-limited cards. And so here's the list. I'll give you the list, and then Paul, I want to hear your feedback, just as thoughts on just like exploring this kind of space as a fan format, just in general. Okay, here you go. Banned rulers is Mylist, Feasting, Carlina, Dante, Zeus, and Belial. Just all hard banned. Hard banned cards: Whispers from the Abyss, Null Magic Stone, Sudden Manifestation of Power, Lave, Bloody Moon, Mariabella, Captain Hook, Cheshire Cat's Assistant, Umir, Spirit Stone, Law of Silence, Lycion, Rezard, the 3-drop recycle Rezard.
Oh, the recycle boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Echidna, Demonic Dead, Sigurd, Final Stance, Wall of Wind, Themis, Origins, Hanzo, the Order Hanzo, Warhorse, and Sprinting Steward. Limited, meaning you can only play one copy. DBV Athenia, Magical Dragons, Severing Winds, Sack Altar, Magic Stone of the Six Sages, Magic Stone of Moonshade, and semi-limited, meaning 2 copies, Melfi, Rewriting Laws, Order IU, Farer Spell, and Mikage Rhea. This is the idea of this format. We didn't make it. It's being made by Alberto Campos of the FoW community. This is a side project of his. It's very interesting. We offered to at least make it available to people to play at FoW Fest, because he did say any format for the side events. It's a very interesting idea.
I don't hate it. It's basically what we have now.
Rustin,
like,
sorry, I guess I should clarify, okay. Rustin.
Sure.
You are allowed to play a full playset of 4 copies. It's either banned or allowed at 1 or 2. So it's either 1, 2, or unlimited. You can play 4 copies, or it's just hard banned. It's not making playsets down to 3. Let me clarify that. So playsets are still 4, but then it's either hard banned, you're allowed to play 1, you're allowed to play 2.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that they put a few of those cards on that list, but the idea of like there are certain cards you can play, and if you get lucky, you get them, or like you get access to it, but only a limited number of times. That's intriguing to me. Like 1 sacrificial altar, that's all you get. Seems reasonable. I also noticed that Virgil is not banned on that.
Yeah, it's not full, but Dante is.
But Dante is. You can't just fetch Dante. I think it's
an interesting space.
Only rulers that are sitting down in their art. That's hilarious. Chair daddy format. Oh my god. So wait, so Olivia wouldn't qualify because fish can't sit. Dang. Okay, well, I am not a fan of that format.
So, for those of you who are interested in playing Scheherazade, I will say that we currently have a format for FoW Fest that is just called Oops All Sherry, where you have to play Scheherazade, and it's literally current ban list. Like the FoW Fest ban list, so Warhorse and Origin still banned, but you unban Scheherazade off the list, and you have to play Sherry. So yeah. Like, that is a format. So if y'all want to be playing Sherry, just come play Oops All Sherry formats. I really want to fire off at least like 4 of just like Oops All Sherries, just to be like, Oops All Sherries. It's very interesting.
Yeah. It's a very interesting format. The idea that like we're gonna make this into something else that is a little bit more fair. Theoretically, I think that's interesting. I think what's gonna be a major difference between that and Yu-Gi-Oh's ban list is Yu-Gi-Oh has these like super ultra sacky cards.
Yeah.
Where Force of Will has those, but you have to pay for them.
I think the only big difference to me when the idea if you go to like a limited or semi-limited is the fact that we have mulligans.
Yes.
Right? And so like that to me is why I think I personally prefer combination ban. Because the idea of like, I can only play 2 copies of it. Yeah, but I can just ship my whole opening 5. So like I'm gonna see a fourth of my deck in my opener, means that like even if I only run 2 copies of a card, I have a pretty good chance to see it.
That's a very interesting like idea in the head too. It's like, okay, so how do you balance a list when you do have the mulligan, right? That's an interesting thought. I would also be interested to see if there's a fan format where they use sort of like the Duel Links ban list, wherein like you get to reach into a bag and pull out, this is your limit 1 card. You get this card. That's it.
Ooh.
Or you reach into your bag and you get, okay, you have 2 limit 2 cards. You get these 2 cards. Right? I'd be interested in that as well. We could also do like a limit 4. So like if you have a limit 4 on a card, you can reach into a bag and pull out 4 of that card, or of any of those cards on that list.
Interesting.
Any combination.
Yeah. I personally, I won't find myself experimenting with a bunch of like trying to make new ban list rules, because like I've talked to Paul and I actually kind of really like the ban and combination ban list idea.
Yeah,
I enjoy that.
I also prefer that.
I like overall, I actually kind of really like that format of stuff, but the whole idea about FoW Fest is for people to come and enjoy FoW in the ways that they enjoy it, right? So I think that is also people to know if you have played a format with your friends that you think people might enjoy and you want to see about trying to get a group of people at FoW Fest to run it. We have literally said if 8 people all agree on a format and pay into a side event, you can play whatever format you want. So, I mean, obviously with some of the more like off the cuff, like chair daddies only format, like probably message us so we know the rules so that our staff know what they're trying to run an event for. As
I've said recently in the past, we're your chair dads, not your chair daddies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
Just because we're in chairs does not mean we're your daddies.
Nope.
We are your dads. Make no mistake.
We are your dads. So we want FoW Fest to be kind of as fun for everybody as possible, and that's going to be, and trust me when I say we have so much stuff to give away that like, oh, we can't afford to run this format. We'll never get enough people and all the good stuff will be gone by then. Trust me, it won't. Trust me, it won't.
It really won't.
I have so much. I would have so much time, so much stuff to give away. I'm speculating that I might walk away from FoW Fest already having stuff for FoW Fest 2, or for FoW Fest 3. So like, please play in so many side events that I just don't get to take anything home. That would be wonderful. So yeah.
The thing that I love about FoW Fest is that if you are last seed, like if you scrub out, if you are like O and X the whole day, you will walk away with enough stuff to feel like you got first.
I mean, like,
Mother Church.
Yeah, the 10 promo, like if you paid $100, you get the 10 base promos plus a random playmat plus a random ruler, right? So like, you paid $40. Sorry, if you paid $40, I think maybe 45 is the base. You're gonna walk out with like $90 worth of stuff, just for playing. And that's not even including the side events and being entered into contests to potentially being raffled to be able to win enough prize tickets to buy whatever you want at the prize wall. Like, none of that. And then you pay $100 and you also get like a textless dual stone worth like another $60, and you get a top 8 gold Uber with like another $80, and it's just like good times. Plus other surprises, because you know me, always getting those surprises. I have surprises that Paul doesn't even know about.
Yeah, I probably don't.
He doesn't, because I specifically didn't tell him. Mwahaha. Ha 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 ha.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Let's see. The The main thing is play as much as you can, and you should walk away happy, right? Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Yeah. That's the whole point, is we want people to come and EG's, which is funny because EG's back, but like EG's intent for the World Championships is that it's a party to celebrate FoW and connect with the world that just also happens to be a tournament. And we are trying to carry the spirit of that into FoW Fest too, of like, it's really just a bunch of people hanging out, having a good time, playing FoW. There just also happens to be a tournament going on in the background. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we hope to see you all there. Really cool stuff. I'd really like to hear interesting, I'm already seeing in the chat, you guys have already come up with some interesting formats just here in the chat, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to think of what else is there to really talk about other than just chat about FoW life. Let's see. Oh, I do want to say that you're in for some treats this week. We have some updated visuals, which I'm very excited to show you. Some wonderful members of the community hooked us up with some new... sorry, hooked us up. I want to give proper credit. A member of our community, AMC Bride 88 in our Discord community, did some wonderful work. Getting us some updated overlay stuff, which you get to see this week, which is very, very cool. Maybe we can have an RC event as in win one. I don't know what that means. As in
RC.
What is an RC
like
event?
Cola? I mean, wow, Dan.
What does that mean?
Wow.
This is savage. This is very mean.
Dan likes to be mean to me in the most joking way possible. And then he'll say he's serious, and I still won't believe him. If I entered in a tournament, got, like a year's worth of RC Cola, I don't know if I'd be happy or insulted. So I don't think we should do that. Oh, ruler collection. Yeah, that sounds a lot better than
yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I mean, if you want to sponsor a ruler collection opening, go for it. Or sponsor a ruler connection contest that we send them a rulers collection once those come in. I'm down for that. A waifu format, Billy Buttons format. I mean, Billy Buttons, I believe, is coming to FoW Fest. So, like, maybe we can have a Billy. It's just Knights and Stealth. Billy Buttons format is just Knights versus Stealth. And everyone has to play Stealth, but Billy's allowed to play Knights. So that he can just steamroll all of you. It's essentially the give Billy our money format. So that'll be fun. No, it's going to be good. We're going to have, we have a good set of judges. We currently have 4 judges on lock, which means we're actually going to be able to have a stream table judge, which is great. We're going to have commentators, which is great. We're going to have a live stream for that event. It's going to be sick. But like, I don't want to see you in the chat because I want to see you in person. Come to my event. Let's talk about this, Paul. To shift off of FoW Fest conversation with this last like 15 minutes, let's go back to set 2. So let's get speculative.
Of this cluster? Or
this cluster. Let's get speculative.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Let's get speculative.
There's a lot of set 2s.
There's a lot of set there. That's fair. That's fair on me. Let's go back to set 2 of this set cluster.
Sure.
We have been introduced the idea of quote-unquote Shinobi EX areas. So let's assume that, let's go out on a limb and say that the new ruler mechanics are retools and therefore renames, like re-experimentations of like older mechanics that didn't quite work, and we want to flesh them out a little bit more. To that end, we've got standby, which is this. What other mechanics do you think you would like to see them re-experiment with? Like, not the same mechanic, like taking the spirit of a mechanic, turning it into a new archetype, breathing new air into it as something kind of new, making it different. What kind of mechanic do you think you would want to see?
Well, maybe refresh me and the people at home. What mechanics besides Chance Standby haven't come back in some form?
Bestow. Trying to think. Inheritance. Really?
I mean, the symbols
additions.
Still no, but like...
Additions. Addition resonators. Addition J rulers is a mechanic that hasn't come back. Chance standbys has been kind of flushed out. Trying to think what other mechanics haven't really kind of.
I mean, obviously weather.
Oh yes, weather
like,
hasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, weather hasn't.
Other weathers besides
other
rain,
weathers
that are better.
Incarnation,
improve rain.
We've had Incarnation can come back.
I was gonna say like, probably. In terms of like mechanics we haven't explored.
CCG Prime, we have target attack. It's called precision now. Stop it.
Dan, stop being an idiot or go home. We've pretty much explored every mechanic, sort of like a retrain of that mechanic in some fashion. We haven't revisited inheritance as like a keyword.
Right.
We had a reprint of an edition resonator in Necromancy of the Undead Lord.
That's true. That's true. We haven't had any new ones though.
No new ones.
Or exploring
Bestow
that space.
Been touched.
Yeah, Bestow. Gosh,
and
I liked Bestow. I liked Bestow.
It's an interesting mechanic, yeah.
Can we do? You know what I would like to see? Hear me out. Because because I think it honestly could be a very cool mechanic to revisit or like retool. And it would be very easy to make it like viable or sorry, functional. Let's make mobilize an activate ability. Like, let's re-experiment with like the idea of mobilized, but an activate ability. So again, let's think about this. Golems were like super overstated for their cost, but they cost resources to be able to swing with. The biggest problem of that was that you had to pay to attack with them. And that was the biggest problem, right? So you could experiment with mobilize as like you still have to pay to activate them, but it's an activate ability that you could like use the upkeep step for that to like power them up for the turn or something else like that. That could be a cool space to re-explore. Because that honestly, I liked the mobilize mechanic, other than the fact that it was specifically that you had to pay when you attacked, so it kind of made the overstatedness of them pretty much practically worthless. Bestow for Glob, Kimono-like cards, a few old Valhalla mechanics that could work. Not Life Break. Stop.
I am looking for... I can't remember what Explode did.
If it dealt damage, kill us both.
I would like a retrain of that, maybe.
Yeah.
Because we have Death Touch effectively in Bane, right? It's literally the same mechanic. But they reprinted... It was a card back in Videngolf 3. It was a 3-drop red card that basically mimicked Explode without having the actual like keyword on it.
Yeah,
I would be okay with that.
Cool.
But yeah, like revisiting
Limit?
Incarnation.
Ooh, Limit's interesting idea.
Sure.
Bouncing your own stuff back to your hand. Interesting. I'd like to see a new like flicker package, like re-experimenting with like a flicker mechanic. But maybe like and let me rephrase that. Lumia was all about like any enter effect she could find, right? Like da 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 da. But like I think it'd be interesting to explore a flicker mechanic, specifically like if this card left the field and came back this turn, gets a different effect. Right, so like it has has an enter effect, but if it like flickers out, you could like get a different effect off of it. That might be a cool space to explore, to kind of like revisit that.
If this card was not played this turn, it gets this effect instead. Like
yeah,
kind of wording.
Like it's like an enter effect. Like there's an enter effect for if you cast it. Like you'd almost would have to go like, if this card enters the field from being cast, it does this. If this card enters the field without being cast, it does this. So it's like a dual modal kind of thing. Like that could be kind of fun. Almost like a you could almost do it as like a, because they've proven they could do dual-sided cards. It'd be kind of cool to have it be like front and back, almost like if you cast it, it comes in on this side. If it comes into play without being cast, it comes in on this side. That might be kind of neat.
Yeah, like almost like the invert mechanic, but like attached to the flicker mechanic.
Yeah, exactly. Invert,
like that.
But how it's summoned, right? Which kind of goes back to inverse, right? Because inverse was like you summon it and then you summon something else a certain way and it inverted, right? It's a similar kind of thing.
I don't hate that. Yeah.
Self-mill invert. I would be down for invert coming back. I actually really liked invert.
Yeah, that was an interesting concept. The cards felt very or shift. Shift would also it was an interesting mechanic. Gosh, now I'm really thinking.
I'd also like to see I'd also kind of like to see a like defender kind of deck, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Like,
say more.
Like,
say more.
They kind of explored this idea with Mimic, where it comes into play tapped and kind of like, and they've done this before, and they've done this before in the past, where like, you know, if this thing's tapped, it like manipulates how your opponent's turn goes. I'd also kind of like to see a deck that a mechanic functionally around that, where like you can choose to have these things come into play tapped, and based on that they do stuff, or maybe like when this card attacks, it uses its defense stat for its attack instead. That kind of stuff, you know, stuff like that. And then like if it takes damage, it like permanently loses a defense or something like that. I don't know. That could be cool. That's just a mechanic.
That's interesting.
There's a lot of space that's left to explore, my guy. There's so much cool stuff.
There's so much. There's so much.
The Goop Man. Maybe, I mean, that would almost be kind of cool. The Goop Man would be really cool to like explore like a cloning or like a duplication. Like they've done that a little bit in FoW, where it's just like copy your opponent's stuff, but it's always kind of been like this card over here, this card over here, this card. It's never been like a synergistic kind of thing. Mirror of Duplication, Schrodinger, the Shadow Doppelganger. Like they've always been these little tiny things throughout FoW that have been like, we can clone your opponent's stuff, but like, what if we just made that an archetype? Right? That would be kind of cool. Buff the Gorgons.
Like I can clone your stuff or my stuff.
Yeah.
If I have a certain number of like clones, like clone tokens or something.
Yeah.
Special like. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I dig it. There's a lot of cool. I mean, Forcible going on 10 years still got me excited about what new things could be brought into the space.
So one of the things I really, these decks were never good in Yu-Gi-Oh, mind you, but
there,
like Ojamas or Moki Mokis, like just like weak little dudes that somehow come together to make bigger dudes, that have interesting or weird effects. Emblem would be cool. Thanks, Dan. I'm glad you stayed because you actually said something helpful. Emblems would be interesting. Like other items, like items in general would be interesting, right? So we had mystery counters, we had strength counters, we kind of got strength counters back. Gems, we never really got gems again except for El Dorado.
El Dorado.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I could see Explode being like retooled to sort of be like, here's what I want. If it's like Bane, but instead of destroying the resonator, it banishes it instead.
Oh, to get around Eternal?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, so the reason where I'm getting this is, so you remember like the DD archetype, right?
Yeah.
Where like the warrior lady, just remove it from game. I would love like that kind of flavor of like dimension hoppers.
That'd
like,
be kind of cool.
In Force of Will, feels very Force of Will, but do your own thing. Like, don't just take DD warrior lady or dimension warrior or whatever. Like, I'm very fascinated by that concept.
More Union 7. wouldn't mind them exploring Union 7 a little bit, but just doing it better.
Yeah, well,
like more
hear me out. Here's this.
Properly tuned.
Also from my Yu-Gi-Oh days, right? You remember like those like 3 or 4 card archetypes that would just kind of get like spliced into a pack?
Yeah.
You might see some play. Like little like things like that would be kind of fun. We kind of had that in Safina and
Minfia.
The Dark Elves.
Right? Oh, yes.
Like,
Hilda and Safina. Hilda and Safina.
That was really interesting.
Action Jackson sealed items. Get out. Never again. No moon runes. I don't want it.
Sealed items that don't require us to release other versions of the same card.
Yeah, no thank you. Hard pass.
But I do like the concept of like you play this and it unseals the thing. And
Limit Break. I mean, that's like Limit Break. That's like in the similar mistake.
Like Seal as we have it now, but like tooled differently, so it's like this thing gets additional effects.
We got ninjas, Night Lady, Goop Man, Reflect Refrain, and Void Boys, and Sylvia clone. So we'll see what happens. More Dragonoids. Let's go. So there's lots of cool stuff to speculate on it, and it'll be interesting to see what comes back. I mean, this idea of revisiting the spirit of older mechanics in a way that might be potentially tied to a specific ruler, in all honesty, feels a little bit like the spirit of like OG FoW coming back, right? Of like, we have this mechanic, it's very clearly linked to a certain ruler. If you like that mechanic, you're going to play that ruler, so your ruler determines the kind of deck and mechanically you're playing. Like, there's a little bit of that to it too. So that's also very cool to see as we speculate into this, because like the difference between like Falchion control and Aristella control is, do you have a way to recharge your God's Arts, or do you want to search an edition for free every turn? Like, that's pretty much the only difference between those two decks. It doesn't really matter which ruler it is. At least the way people have been playing it. Like, I've seen people playing Charge of the Fairy Tale King in Falchion. So it's like, seeing this idea of, you know, kind of retooling or revisiting to reflesh out and make more ruler-centered versions of older mechanics is a cool idea for me, and it's cool to see what comes out of it. I'm excited to see what comes out of it and what comes forward. One special question: are all entry levels giving you entries for both days in FoW Fest? So, good question, Vampire. The venue of FoW Fest is open to the public. You can come into FoW Fest both days, whatever. The main event of FoW Fest is what you are paying a pre-registration fee for. This is the day 1 major event into day 2 top 8 top cut. You can play in as many side events as you want on day 1 and day 2, regardless of if you've pre-registered for the main event. Hope that answers your question. So if you do not make top cut on day 1, you have from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. the following day to play in as many side events as you want. So, like, a lot of time for FoW. And remember, the side events are 8-man pod, any format, single elimination, $20 entry. So they can move very, very quickly. It's going to be very, very fun. I'm excited. Make a ruler that taps for 2 with an indie combination of attributes. You mean Carlina? Bitey Lady banned.
We broke her.
Yeah, we did. You're welcome. Will characteristics?
Will characteristics, absolutely.
That'd be very 100%. Cool. That'd be very cool.
Okay. I want Torrent as well. I do want Torrent, but Torrent. Not on... Yeah.
Just green cards? Want Torrent. That'd be cool to see Torrent come back. That's going to do it for us for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us. This has been a wonderful conversation. Lots more information to come. Later this week, we have the feature match between Zeus, post-ban list Zeus, and Sprinting Steward Olivia. Because y'all wanted to see it, and Paul Clute built it. So we're going to see how that goes. So be sure to tune into that on Wednesday and get the deck profile later this week. As always, I am Demo73, joined by Paul Reisman. And until next time, This is us saying, class dismissed. Have a good night, everybody.